Alright everyone, let's kick things off with a question. Think about driving a car. You glance at your speedometer and it gives you a precise number, your speed at that very instant. But how does the speedometer pull that off? It's not like it measures how far you travel over a whole hour and then divides, right? That would only give us the average speed. This idea of instantaneous change is incredibly powerful, and it's what we're going to explore today. We're diving into one of the bedrock concepts of calculus, and that is the definition of the derivative. Calculus, at its heart, is the mathematics of change, and the derivative is our primary tool for precisely analyzing how functions change. This isn't just some abstract math concept, it has profound implications. In physics, it allows us to calculate instantaneous velocity and acceleration. In economics, it helps us determine the marginal cost and revenue. In engineering, it's crucial for optimization problems. So understanding the derivative opens doors to a wide range of applications. In our time together, we'll start by solidifying our understanding of average rate of change, then we'll make a crucial transition to the instantaneous rate of change. Finally, we'll formalize this with the limit definition of the derivative and connect it to its visual representation as the slope of the tangent line. Okay, so before we tackle the instantaneous, let's make sure we're all on the same page with the average rate of change. Imagine we have some function, let's call it y is equal to f of x. If we pick 2 points on its graph, let's say at x equals a and at x equals a plus h, then the average rate of change of the function f of x over that interval from a to a plus h is simply the change in the function's value divided by the change in the x value. Mathematically, that is expressed as f of a plus h minus f of a all over h. Notice anything familiar about the expression? Right! It's the slope formula. That's right. The average rate of change is precisely the slope, excuse me, is the slope of the secant line that connects the 2 points A and f of a and the point a plus h and f of a plus h on the graph of our function. So, the average rate of change gives us an overall sense of how the function is behaving between these two functions or between these 2 points, but it doesn't tell us anything about the function's behavior at a specific point. Let's do a quick example. Suppose that the function f of x is equal to x squared. What's the average rate of change of f of x as x goes from 1 to 3? And if we will compute this, we will get f of 3 minus f of 1 all over 3 minus 1, and that gives us 9 minus 1 all over 2, which is equal to 4. So, the average rate of change is 4, and geometrically, this means that the slope of the line connecting the points 1 and 1 and 3 and 9 on the graph of f of x is equal to x squared is equal to 4. Now, here's where things get interesting. What if, instead of the average rate of change over an interval, we want the rate of change at one specific point, let's say at x equals a? Can we just make h to be equal to 0 in our formula? Why or why not? Exactly. We run into a problem. Dividing by 0 is a big no-no. So that is undefined. Okay? So how do we capture this idea of the rate of change at a point? This is where the concept of limit comes to our rescue. Instead of setting h equal to 0, we ask what happens to the average rate of change as h gets arbitrarily close to 0. In other words, we take the limit as h approaches 0. Visually, imagine our secant line. As h gets smaller and smaller, the second point, a plus h and f of a plus h, get closer to the value of a and f of a. What happens to the secant line? It transforms into the tangent line. The line that just touches the curve at that single point. So, the instantaneous rate of change of f of x at x equals a is defined as the limit of the average rate of change of as h approaches 0, and that means that that is the limit of f of a plus h minus f of a all over h as h approaches 0. So this limit, and it's crucial that it exists if what we call the derivative of the function f of x at x equals a is equal to a, we give it a special name and special notation, which is f prime of a. So remember, f prime of a is not just some abstract formula. It's the instantaneous rate of change of the function f of x at x equals a. It tells us exactly how the function is changing at that specific x value. And geometrically, f prime of a is the slope of the tangent line to the graph of y is equal to f of x at the point a and f of a. This gives us the powerful visual way to understand the derivative. Okay, so let's solidify this with an example. Let's go back to our function f of x equals x squared. We already look at the average rate of change. Now, let's find the derivative of f of x at some arbitrary x is equal to a, and this will tell us the slope of the tangent line to the graph of f of x equals x squared at any point. We start with the limit definition. F prime of a is equal to the limit of f of a plus h minus f of a all over h as h approaches 0. Now, we substitute our function f of x squared as a plus h squared. Okay? So let's expand and we will get a squared plus 2ah plus h squared minus a squared all over h. Notice that the a squared terms are cancelled out. And then we can factor h from the numerator, which is h times 2a plus h all over h. And we can cancel h on both numerator and denominator. And we will now take the limit as h approaches 0, which is equal to 2a. So what does this tell us? The derivative of f of x is equal to x squared at any point x equals a is always 2a. This means that the slope of the tangent line to the graph of y equals x squared at any x value is simply 2 times the x value. Now, let's recap the key ideas. We define the derivative using the limit, a crucial tool that allows us to move from average change to instantaneous change. We emphasize that the derivative f prime of a represents the instantaneous rate of change of a function at a specific point x equals a. And we visualize the derivative as the slope of the tangent line, providing a powerful geometric interpretation. So the big takeaway here is that the derivative allows us to analyze the local behavior of a function, how it's changing at a particular instant, not just over an interval, and this is what makes it useful so many feel. Okay, what questions do you have about any of this? The definition process, the interpretation, anything at all? Okay, great. Remember, this is definition is that the foundation for everything we'll do in the derivatives. Make sure you're comfortable with it. We'll build on this in the coming lesson. Thanks everyone.